Anyway, let me first welcome the show. It's a lovely cold or maybe cool weather today, and we are here in the, I would say, the first show of the 2021 year, which is very, very, very highly anticipated. We said bye to our 2020, and we are starting the 2021 on a high note, and we are hoping we'll continue giving you the best and nothing but the best in terms of sports. Welcome to Off the Pitch, the show that gives you nothing but the best in terms of sports highlights, and I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore. And I'm not alone, I'm joined by my colleague, Angol Rapson. Welcome to the show and welcome to 2021.
Thank you very much. And, good afternoon, dear viewers. And it's a fantastic day to be alive in 2021. And it's not been easy. 2020 had its own ups and downs, but we thank God that we managed to persevere and endure. And with everything that has happened, we thank God that we made it into 2021, and we are here to discuss nothing but sport. Very nice. The things that we like doing every day.
Augustine again. We apologize for Augustine again. It's very hard almost all the time coming up with apologies. Augustine was held up somewhere. He was supposed to join us here on set in the studios, but unfortunately something happened and he couldn't make it. But all in all, we'll have to just move on. It's 2021 as usual. Angorapson, let's look at some of the things, or maybe let's look at this thing, the latest thing where Forest Rangers first defeat of the season.
Well, when they played their last game, I knew that their next game they were heading into Cabo Warriors, and Cabo Warriors, knowing how they are when they are playing at home, I think Forest Rangers had a good run, 8 games, having won 4, drawn 4, and lost nothing getting into that game. Everything looked very positive when you look at the strength and the focus that the entire team of Forest Rangers had, because remember that their concentration is nowhere else other than the Zambian Super League. They were knocked out of the continental games, and now their concentration is purely on the local league, and they've been pulling quite some surprising performances, some very, very big strings that they've been pulling. And unfortunately, on Sunday, they had a very, very tough opponent in Cabo Warriors. It was an interesting match, and they recorded their first loss of the season, and we could see the Zambian collapse to the national team in that team performing to the best of their abilities, having had a game waiting for them, because remember that the national team had a game on Monday, so some players arrived quite late, others were excused from playing and all that. But I think overall, you could tell that Forest Rangers is slowly getting tired, and hopefully, I can only wish them all the best, because when such a thing starts happening in football, you tend to have a phase that you go through as a team, and before long, if you don't have a good technical bench that can sack the players, it becomes very, very difficult for the team to get back to their winning ways. So they recorded their first loss, and I think we are getting into a break, and football will be back. The teams that have been only allowed to play are teams that had a backlog of games to fulfill
the
catch up with the rest of their colleagues.
Would we say this is where now experience comes in terms of, because we've seen teams that are playing a lot of games but still hold on to the unbeaten run?
It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult, especially now, Amos, because now the issues of saying the team has been unbeaten and they are now using experience is nowhere. I know you're about to come to another match which you are going to talk about the experience and non-experience and everything else. It really doesn't hold any water anymore when you look at the results that are being manifested at the moment. We are seeing very shocking results. Why? Because a lot of teams have put in a lot of hard work. The technical teams, the sponsorship has really improved in the Zambian league. This is the more reason why it has attracted quite a lot of foreign-based players, the foreign players to come and play their soccer in Zambia, because the league has become competitive. There's proper sponsorship, there's proper remunerations and all that. So it's very, very difficult for you to turn back and say the experience is what needs to come in. For me, it's just how the technical bench manages to cycle the players back to their winning ways. It's not going to be easy because every team, every opponent in this league is becoming strong by the day.
Let's look at the game which shocked a lot of people, Angorapson, the Ghana game. I know a lot of people didn't expect such a result where Prison Leopards had to beat Ghana 2-0. I don't know your take on it. And I remember the last time you said it clearly to say Kaindo took over, and we've seen his 2 games already as a manager. The Continental game that they drew one at peace, and this one.
Kaindo has a lot of work to do, to be very honest. It's quite a lot of work to do, and when you look at Prison Leopards, they are being top of the league at this stage in football. It's nothing but hard work. It's not by fluke, it's not by chance, it's by hard work. Their coach Moinyach Pepo was a reject at Power Dynamos Football Club. He was rejected at Power Dynamos Football Club. He was lucky to get that job. He's gotten that job. He's been motivating the players. He's been training the players. They are tactically very, very strong. We've seen quite a couple of games where Prison Leopards have actually shown resilience to defeat. They have been playing some very, very good football. And for me, if you ask me, the game against Nkana Football Club, where they convincingly beat Nkana Football Club by 2-0, was nothing but a result of a lot of hard work. I know there's no excuse to give because both teams were using the same pitch. The pitch was very bumpy, and for me, if you ask me, I sat back when I watched some video clips. I didn't travel to Kabwe to go and watch that game. When I was watching the video clips of the pitch itself, it looked more like a grazing ground than a football playing field. And I am not very convinced that such kind of pitches should be used for Premier League football. Nothing to defend Nkana's loss. And by the way, I'm appreciating the performance of Prison Leopards very much. But I think that pitch contributed quite a lot to the flow of football that Nkana Football Club enjoy. But it was a very, very bumpy pitch.
Would you say we really need to invest a lot in these stadium that these people use? Because for me, I feel before each game, are they not supposed to be inspectors who have to inspect how the pitch is, the surface? It's
the inspection is done once at the beginning of the season. If I'm not mistaken, I beg to be corrected. It's done at the beginning of the season where it's given a go-ahead to say this pitch can host Premier League games. It's been given a go-ahead. They look at security, they look at the surface itself, they look at the dressing rooms. All those things are done. But at the end of the day, if maintenance is not there, depreciation comes in. And this is where you could see some brown patches on the pitch, all over the pitch. There were brown patches during that game. And congratulations to Prison Leopards. It was a fantastic win for them, and they are top of the league now, and they are not looking backwards. Moinyach Pepo is doing some fantastic job. The sponsorship of Prison Leopards, the prisoners themselves, the prison commission, did a very, very fantastic thing to motivate the players by awarding them those plots. If at all they have given them, I'm yet to confirm, but I think there was news that they were promised that they will be given some pieces of land per player for qualifying to the Super League, and apparently they also offloaded quite a couple of players and brought in new players to bring in stability. And the decision which was made is being vindicated by the actual results that we are seeing now. So for me, it's a fantastic work being done by the technical bench, fantastic sponsorship, and everything. Remember, this is the same team that also brought Chicken George before he left. He did a 1-week job and left to go to Tanzania.
With the ice cream makers.
Yeah, where he hasn't been doing very good. But clearly he's not losing there also. But winning is eluding him. I think he's only won once or twice from the time he left. Much of the games that he's been playing are draws. But before we even divert to go to that, we are appreciating the composition of the Prison Leopards technical bench as well as the sponsorship, because the results are yielding.
Motivation.
The results are yielding.
That's where motivation comes in.
Yeah.
And happy New Year to the viewers who are just joining us. As I said earlier, you can also watch us live. That's on Facebook. Just follow our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and you'll be able to watch us live from there. And for your contribution, you can just call in through the number which is scrolling just down there on your screens. But for now, before we go into details and much of what we have for you today, we'll just take a commercial break.
Hello, have Have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Msika, allowing your business to grow.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +260 962 444 726 or +260 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back to Achiafia Tuneko mention because our throats at times really get dry when doing these things. But anyway, for those who are just joining us, like I said earlier before we went on a commercial break, you can also watch us live. That's on Facebook under our page Camnet TV. You can leave a comment from there, or if you want to comment live, you can just call in on that line which is scrolling just down there on your screens. But as we saw 2020 having a lot of issues, a lot of ups and downs, there is a game that was played which was the All-Stars and the rest and corruption.
Yeah. Well, it was a very, very fantastic week. We started the week on a very, very high note. Of course, the biggest note was Cabo Warriors beating Forest Rangers and recording their first loss of the league. And on Monday, we quickly shifted to the big one where the fans were given an opportunity to remember the Rothmans of Pomo, All-Stars versus the rest in the olden days, and now we had our own opportunity where the fans cried and fans listened and fans gave us an opportunity as fans to actually pick what we thought were going to be the best team that would face the All-Stars that Micho had assembled. Remember, Micho is assembling youngsters, and I think his philosophy was so much, the emphasis was so much on the age and all that. But here we were on a Monday, we all gathered at...
and I'm glad that you were there to cover it live.
At Nkoroma Stadium, and I like the way the security was, the security was in terms of the Ministry of Health guidelines. I saw a couple of Ministry of Health officials trying to maintain the fact that the game needs to be played under very, very strict guidelines. Kudos to Football Association of Zambia and the organizing committee for that particular game. And I clearly was very, very happy because there were a lot of washing points, and distance was being emphasized every other minute. Exactly a few minutes before the match, you could hear the match comment, the organizing officials asking us to maintain the social distance between the chairs and the next person next to you, and just wearing your masks through and through. And a few government officials from Ministry of Health were available to witness that guidelines are being adhered to, and we appreciate Football Association of Zambia for that. Coming back to the game, I think we had a very, very, very fantastic game, and on that particular day for me, the first half is where we can discuss and just end it. Because the second half was purely a game where Wedson Nyirenda decided to start putting whoever was available on the bench,
so that
they needed to play a part in that game. If it was his personal team, where he's very, very strong and wanted a positive result, he wasn't going to make some of the changes that he made. But because he wanted to give an opportunity to everybody who was available on that day to take a part and participate and just show what they are capable of doing, he gave them that opportunity. We saw how the players played, the starting 11. I think if you recall very well last week, the lineup I mentioned was probably missed by one.
Only one.
Yeah.
I saw.
My prediction was only missed by one, and the team that started is exactly what I mentioned, and we missed by one. But when you look at Mitchell's team, and you could see the fans, because the fans in the stadium, thank God it was a free game, so everybody was allowed to walk in for free. The restriction only came in when the stadium started becoming full. That's when they started restricting the entry and all that. But coming to the actual game itself, when you look at Mitchell's starting 11, it's a situation where all of us, the fans, we are sitting in the stadium. By the way, we were given a corner at Nkoloma Stadium where media personnel was sit. Yeah, they gave us the left side of the VIP. And when the team was being mentioned, I can assure you that not all the fans, probably 20% of the fans, were also, maybe 20% are the only fans that exactly knew which players were being mentioned under Mitchell's team. Majority of the fans were getting shocked, especially those that don't watch Zambian football regularly, they don't follow it regularly. They were expecting some usual names, then we started getting the shocks of our lives. The Prison Leopards goalkeeper was Zambia one. And I'm like, oh, okay. You look at the bench, there was a goalkeeper also from...
Shock of the day.
We were very, very shocked. The defense, he gets the under-20 international Mafuenta from Jutcon. He uses Leonard this side, and I'm like, oh, okay. The only veteran in defense was Benedict Chepeshi, who has played Premier League football for quite a couple of years. Yeah. So he was the only veteran in defense. When you look at the midfield, he literally got Green Buffaloes midfield. He literally got Green Buffaloes. There was Leonard Mlenga there was one Jack Chilwa. And for me...
And Jack Chilwa after a long time.
Of course. He was in the starting 11 for Mitchell's team, and for me... The beauty about that whole combination is, on the other side, we had one enterprising Harrison Chisara. One enterprising Harrison Chisara in midfield for the rest team, and the competition was on point. The game started, the games were on, and we saw the rest playing some very, very scintillating football. And when you look at the way the crowd was jubilating when the game was going on, you would think that the national team is this other one which is being coached by Wedson Nyirenda. And not until we had that wonderful set piece from one Faxon Kapumbo, and you know that combination of Faxon Kapumbo and the two centre backs that we had in Adrian Chama and Clement Mwape, it was a perfect combination, if you ask me. And this is why at the end of the day, it's not very shocking to see the type of players that have gone to the national team. The ones that have been incorporated in Mitchell's team, it's not very, very surprising, if you ask me, because that set piece which Faxon took and the pinpoint header which was scored by one Clement Mwape, it was a very, very fantastic set piece.
Defender to defend.
The problem I had there is the straight line which Mitchell's defense had created on that set piece. They went for a straight line in defending, and the defenders didn't jump. Clement had a free header. It was a pinpoint header, very powerful header. And you know where it went? In between the palms of the goalkeeper. It never even went on the sides, as in placing the ball where he wanted it to be. it just went straight. The pace of the ball, the velocity of the ball was good enough to find the back of the net.
Let's look at, for you, who, a lot of people voted, and if you saw how Facebook went ablaze that day saying no, Sautu, Spencer Sautu. I watched the game live, that was on Facebook live stream, and I could tell to say this guy is going to be included whether they like it or not.
You see, Spencer has been very consistent. You've done well to actually talk about Spencer. I can actually take you back to how Green Eagles has found themselves in this situation.
Yeah.
Of creativity. Creativity in midfield, creativity up front. From the time that Spencer left and Tabson Kaseva, they've been struggling. Mm-hmm. They've been doing fine, yes. Okay, Tabson left, Spencer was there, but immediately after Spencer went on loan to Power Dynamos, we have seen Green Eagles struggling with performance. And the opposite is also true. Because remember, Spencer joined Power Dynamos, he wasn't very fit. He had to wait until he gained his fitness
levels.
He was injured, then he came back. From the time that he started featuring for Power Dynamos, you've seen what is happening to Power Dynamos. That guy, let's not even beat about the bush. He's a one-man show. He's a player that can take things personal and contribute 150% for his team. He has done that at Green Eagles. He did that at Power Dynamos. He came to show Micho on that day that I am Spencer Sautu, and he really performed that day. And for me, credit goes to the coach. You know, it's very, very difficult when you have not selected certain players and you swallow your pride because of their performance publicly, and you just say, I am picking this. That must be appreciated. It means that there's room for everybody to play for the national team. And for the first time, by the way, remember that all the 5 players that Micho has incorporated in the squad, Clement, Adrian,
Roger Kola.
Let's discuss these 3. Mm-hmm. They are all 33-year-olds.
Yeah.
So the philosophy, and now, at this particular point, okay, this is for the coach. I don't know the jinx, how he has agreed to accept players who are 33 years old. Remember, this is a developmental team which should have been played by the youngsters who are just making it in life, in football and at that level. He's picked these guys probably because his defense was very exposed. When you look at Adrian and Clement, they are all 33-year-olds. He snapped a core, and the reason was Cletus Chama is slightly old. Mm-hmm. But remember, Cletus is younger. He's a younger brother to Adrian. He's a younger brother to Adrian, and this is a developmental team. So he's doing it on 2 opposite extremes. This extreme says, I want to build a team for the future. Chan should be building a team for the future for AFCON. But now, because of the incompetence of the young ones that he had called into camp, I think they failed to cope with the attacking duo of Jimmy Njovu and Roger Kola on that day, and they were very exposed, to say the least. This I can tell you. The defense was very exposed. They were caught napping a couple of times. Thank God to the goalkeeper who managed to make a couple of saves. Yeah, true. The entire 45 minutes, the first 45 minutes, Micho's team had no shot on target. That is how bad the situation is. And those are the players that he has been training with. Wada's team, they probably met 48 hours before playing. Other players were arriving 24 hours. He just put them together and said, guys, go and play, do your thing, and just go and enjoy. And they went and enjoyed and played as a team.
But for me, and perhaps maybe I would love to find out from you, the 5 players that were included, is there anyone you felt like wasn't supposed to be there, and is someone who you feel like was supposed to be included?
It's very, very difficult. It's a very, very subjective opinion to discuss why he has picked these players. Mm-hmm. But firstly, the 2 defenders that I've spoken about are very solid. They were very solid. Very, very solid in defense. And they were winning balls. And very mature at defending. Yeah. They were not kicking long balls, they were playing. So for me, those 2, they deserve it. We come to Harrison Chisala, Lewa. Lewa, if you saw the first half, the rest were not kicking long balls. they were playing, they were starting and playing. That is his ball. That is his ball game. Harrison doesn't play football where you are boom,
Long balls,
boom,
long
boom.
balls.
He's not the kind of player. That's an intelligent and entrepreneurial player on the pitch. So his football is a passing ball, which he really enjoyed in the first half. The moment a couple of changes were made, they started, you know, where you get a ball in defense and you quickly switch it to the strikers. You are skipping the midfielders. What are you doing to them? They are nothing but passengers, because now the ball is moving from defense straight to the strikers.
Yeah.
And when the strikers are being challenged by the defenders, it becomes very, very difficult, because remember, the defenders have an advantage. It's an aerial ball. Your striker is facing his own goal. The defender is facing the ball. So the ball gets to have an advantage to a defender's side. So the defenders are likely to clear that ball and you lose possession. So Lewa's first half was very, very much on point. Spencer, we can't belabor. He was my man of the match, if you ask me. He played some fantastic football. I have a few questions on why Roger Kola has been added to the team. Probably, the only reason could be that Moses Piri scored for the race for the All-Stars team, and Roger kept those boys in defense, the two centre-backs for Mitchell's team, at bay. He was harassing them. He's good for aerial balls. Now, I am thinking, this is just my opinion, I am thinking the combination of the scorer Martin Piri
And his pace.
and his pace. And when you look at the height of Roger Kola, that deadly combination at Zanaco is what gives them goals. So probably he's taken them and is hoping that they can go and duplicate the same thing that they do for the club. The same thing that we were discussing between Adrian
Chama and
Clement. It could be that that is the reason. But when you look at the performance on that particular day, Roger Kola he did the right thing as a striker, stop, hold the ball, do this. The biggest disappointment on the day was Basil.
No. But for me, that day was, I got shocked with how Chisamba performed the whole time he was in the field.
Like I said,
For me, that was a disappointing.
Sambalungu, we all know that he's a senior player. He was a very, very senior player in that team, and you could see Adrian Chama handing over the armband the moment Sambalungu was introduced on the pitch. But over and above that, I think it was just a situation where, like I said, where everybody who has been called to the rest team by the fans, it would have been very, 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 very disappointing for one Wedson Nyirenda not to field certain players which we have chosen as fans.
Yeah.
So I think he was also playing to the gallery to say, this is the team that the fans have scored. I've been given a responsibility to make combinations so that we have a complete squad on the team that can perform and gel together in this short time. So for me, he had no choice but to field certain players. If you ask him personally, probably given his own opinion, he should have had some players sit on the bench 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Basil, talk of Basil now. Uncle Rapson, I could feel the heat from the fans whenever Basil holds the ball.
You see,
would you say he's a player's fan?
Yes, Basil is a player's fan. And for me, this is not something that we can even debate on. I'll tell you why. Perim has answered fans a couple of times about Basil. When he was not featuring Basil in the team, the fans were complaining heavily. He went and told them, guys, I don't have strikers. Fans were arguing, good Basil. What did he do when he started putting manpower dynamos? The same thing. Now, because of the fans' choice, Basil is still a crowd puller. He's a fans player. So, most of the fans were just voting Basil. And he found himself in the team. He was given an opportunity, actually. Long time in that match for him to do the right thing. But when you look at what exactly he came on to do, every time he got the ball, he would sleep. He would fall, sleep, fall, try to trap the ball, trouble, trap the ball, trouble. For me, really, he wanted, I think he didn't naturally come out. He wanted to impress the fans. And when you have that zeal, that thought in you, that I need to impress the fans at the expense of teamwork, those are the results. Those are the consequences that we could see. Yeah, I was very, very disappointed. He's a very, very good player, if you ask me. If he's in the right frame of mind, he's a very, very good player. I can't take anything away from him. But on that day, I think he was a very, very serious liability, and he had no hope to be selected for the Chan team that was traveling.
Today we are facing, is it Niger? Any surprising stats from these 5 players who are included in the Chan? Any surprising?
It's very difficult. The time is too short. I don't know how they've been training. Because we had a game on Monday. They left during the course of the week.
Yeah.
How they've been training, how they've been trying to coalesce, it doesn't matter. But I think the coach was convinced beyond reasonable doubt. Remember, immediately after the match, the coach was talking about 3 players. In the end, he watched, probably he watched it a couple of times and said, no. Instead of 3, we are going to 5. And that is how we ended up picking the 5. And for me, let him go and combine. We've got a game this afternoon. I'm not just too sure about the time.
About the time, yeah.
Yeah, but this particular tournament is a very, very good litmus test for him to create the first starting 11 for the tournament. Remember, immediately after the tournament ends, this Kawan Chan starts in a couple of days, because it's being hosted in Cameroon, and a few countries that have arrived early, the 4 nations that have arrived early, are the ones that the host Zambia, Niger, and is it Uganda?
Cameroon, something.
Yeah, Cameroon is the host nation. So those are the ones that are playing in this 4-nation tournament. And for me, he has 3 games to make sure that the rest that were co-opted into the All-Stars, into the Chan squad, are able to, he's able to see and gel them together to make a very, very deadly team. And I have no doubt that with those 5 inclusions, the target that he has of reaching the semi-finals is probably very, very realistic. And I wouldn't be shocked if they came back with a trophy, because now he has added the experienced players and the young ones, which we were lacking. Because I could see the way his backline was defending. His backline was caught a couple of times, and clearly, if we had gone with that team, we would have come back in the first round. But now that we have strengthened it, I think we are in for a surprise, and I think the coach will do a very, very good job in these 3 training games that he has before the actual tournament starts.
Anyway, for the viewers, that's just a snippet on the game that took place between the All-Stars and the rest, and the names that were included in the team that is representing us in the Chan tournament. And those players are Adrian Chama, Roger Kola, Harrison Chisala, Clement Mwape, Spencer Sautu, and Angorapson was just giving an overview on his perspective and his opinion in terms of who can start and who and how the coach can combine. But before we continue in looking at the new work permit and the fee which was put in foreign-based players and other staffs that are there in terms of the local transfers and other staffs, we'll just take a very short break and we'll see you on the other side.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact +260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Msika, allowing your business to grow.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The Bible says, I knew you before I placed you in your mother's womb. Apples and bananas.
Work and wait, and this what you've been praying for.
Welcome back, and it's a lovely Saturday. As I said, it's cool today. We can't say we are having pressure in terms of the heat because it's a good breeze and it's a good start to the 2021. Ango Rapson, there are a lot of surprising local transfers just are happening now, and we are in for the shock of our lives because the window is still open. Some of are there some of the surprising transfers so far?
Not very surprising, really. We've seen the movement of one Tostan Savata from Sensational Zanaco Football Club. He's going to join his coach who coached him for 5 years when he was at Stadium. He's going to join Zesco United. That deal was confirmed, and it's very, very disappointing for Zanaco Football Club, if you ask me, because that is one goalkeeper who is very, very good. Of course, he had his own lapses. They haven't discussed the reasons why his contract was not renewed. But I think to let go of a player of his caliber for free is where I have concerns about these clubs and how they do business in this football. And for me, they would have probably just loaned him out and probably renew his contract. Loan him out because they are now using Raja Kola and Mangani Banda most of the times. But there's his movement. We've seen his movement. He's joined Zesco United Football Club, and we can only wish him all the best and hopefully he finds his feet there, because there's Ian Otieno at Zesco
There's
United
competition.
Football
And then
Club.
what happens to Jacob Banda now?
Well, Jacob Banda, I've seen him once or twice sitting on the bench as a goalkeeper coach, and I wouldn't be surprised if he continues in that role. Probably he's being like I was saying, he's joining Zesco United Football Club. Is nowhere but a loss for Sensational Zanaco Football Club, if you ask me. But on the other hand, he's joining a club that is finding its feet back on the Zambian football after the departure of one Chicken George into Tanzania, neighboring Tanzania. But generally speaking, he's joining a team that has a very, very strong goalkeeping department. And for me, that goalkeeping department at Zesco United, he needs to go and perform and challenge for that position, because it's not easy. He's not going to kick off Ian Otieno, who's been very, very good in goals there. And there's Jacob Banda, who's also there. He's lucky because I suspect Zesco United, the joining in of Tostan Sabata, has everything to do with the foreign player policy that they have implemented as a club, where they're trying to limit the number of foreign-based players to nothing but 5 for the entire squad. And we've seen a couple of players, and I think it will lead us into the discussion of
the work permit.
The player that is very, very, very highly rumored to join Napsa Stars Football Club. We have 2 players that have hit the transfer market with a very, very big signal that they are looking for a club to play football for. We have a couple of teams that are very, very interesting and are looking at getting the services of one Enoch Sabumkama, whose contract was not renewed a couple of weeks ago by Zesco United Football Club because of the new policy that they have. We have one David Diambo, who is also free. He's probably a free agent at this point, and it is rumored, highly rumored. We don't discuss rumors, but we can safely say in a few days' time or a week or so, we should be able to see this coming to fruition, because the discussions have been very, very, they've been going on. It's very, very highly rumored that these 2 players might be finding their way at Napsa Stars Football Club. We are yet to confirm that, but it is likely to happen like that. We have one Namibian international again on the transfer market, who is on the verge of joining Kansanshi Dynamos, our Eden University team that is doing
spending
very fine. Big spending. They are not very much spending, except it's probably very, very good teamwork and very, very technical abilities by the technical bench led by one Beston Jambeshi there, and they are likely to get the Namibian international into their books. And for me, those are the high-profile transfer rumors and confirmations that have taken place in the last few days, and we'll come back with more news next week. The other ones we are yet to confirm. We've talked about these because they are likely to happen before the next show next week, and it's been like that. Then probably just an addition before we move away from transfers. I was very shocked to learn of one of our own in South Africa.
Is it? Are we talking of Shonga?
Justin is making another
shock move
from TTM to Cape Town City, and I am probably TTM. Like we mentioned in the very, very beginning, if you remember, I said TTM will be like Butecoin, not the current Butecoin.
The first
Butecoin, where they were getting any player who has 2 legs and has played some football before. And when I say some football before,
let's just speak this call, Rapson, and hello? Hello? Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Your name and where you are calling us from?
I want to talk about the table. I want to know how
kindly, hello? Kindly cut and call again. Sorry, you can keep on trying, like we said earlier, you can keep on trying calling. The numbers are just there on your screens, and give your comment or view on the question which is just scrolling down there. Ango Rapson, you were saying of the player, as long as the player has got legs, can able to kick the ball.
You see, that is where TTM made a mistake. They got a couple of veterans and put them together in one team. And now the performance hasn't been as expected when you look at the type of investment they put in those players. Remember, those were high-earning players where they were coming from, and now you put them together at TTM. Shocking results, but over and above that, we are not here to discuss the performance of TTM. We are discussing nothing but the performance of our Zambian player in Justin Chonga, who's on the verge of joining Cape Town City. He'll be, I think he's going to meet our brother there, former sensational midfielder, one Charles Zulu, who's been on the books of Cape Town City. And we can only wish him all the best. But coming back again to the transfers that we've mentioned, I think these transfers, the number of foreign-based players that are living in, that are plying their trade in the Zambian league, they are on the verge of facing a very, very serious problem with our immigration department. Nothing to do with Football Association in Zambia, by the way. I am just thinking aloud. Football Association of Zambia, I'm so sorry, nothing to do with you. But I think the new fees that have been introduced by the immigration department on the work permit, they will become a very, very strong limiting factor to the number of foreign-based players that we will have. Because initially, if my memory serves me right, I beg to be corrected, a work permit was costing 6,000 kwacha. 6,000 kwacha.
That's in Zambian kwacha, no?
Yes. For you to move from your country to come and do any job here, which is supposed to be categorized as a specialist job, for you to do a knowledge transfer to a local person, before we, away from football. It's a work permit that affects any foreign player, any foreign person that is coming in the country to work here. And probably they will give you that work permit, which will probably be a year or two. And in those 2 years, the normal practice is that you should be able to transfer your knowledge to another Zambian, so that another Zambian takes over your job as you go back. So these particular fees which have been introduced now, I think they're a blessing in disguise to the football fraternity. Why do I say so? Because now, the number of foreign players that will be handled by clubs will have to reduce drastically because of the new fees. Imagine from, they've increased by 300%. From 6,000 kwacha, a work permit will now be costing 18,000 kwacha. When that work permit is issued at 18,000 kwacha, a player will probably be given, and I know these work permits, I know, they are probably 12 to 24 months. So it depends on how it
So
works.
if you sign here for a contract with 5 years,
You can't. Your contract is limited to the work permit.
so meaning each season that comes to an end, another work permit.
Now, this is where the catch is. The renewal of these work permits is 21,000 kwacha. So now the pressure is, are clubs going to manage to have foreign players, for example, like, I'll stick to my build code in
Yes,
the
yes,
beginning.
you love Beautiful.
They once feuded. One Zambian
And the rest
started
10.
11. So you can imagine the cost of maintaining those foreign-based players at this rate. So it becomes a very huge cost, because remember, these players, yes, you can sign a long-term contract. That is between you and the club. But the immigration department will regulate the number of years that you should be in Zambia. And if there's need for you to renew the permit, you need to prepare 21,000. How many clubs will be willing to do that? So the limit, the quota system is probably coming into place without FAS implementing it. That is my take on the new immigration fees that have been effected this year. Which is a very, very good move for me, because serious clubs will still maintain 10 foreign-based players because they'll manage to pay. But it's very, very disappointing, because even in the Eden University,
They are foreign
I
based
have
players.
seen a lot of
Especially
professional players.
Kashikishi.
No, those are our
Your
brothers
team,
from
Kashikishi.
across. Those are our brothers from
But they are
across.
foreign.
They just canoe and cross over, they become ours, and we don't need to worry about them. But clearly, the serious clubs will maintain the foreign-based players. They will manage to pay the fees. But on the other hand, there are these average clubs that are just looking for cheap labor. Sorry to say that. Cheap labor coming from these other countries where there's talent, but there's no football. But the players are willing to come at a very, very small fee. Because remember, West Africa is, for example, West Africa, the players are not very, very well paid there. So when they come here, the money that is available, the ones that the clubs are offering back here in Zambia, is slightly better than what they have
offering.
there.
That's it.
So you realize that most of the teams in Zambia are getting those players to come here because the cost is less. But when you look at what has happened at the new fees that have been introduced at the immigration department, it will limit the number of players by default that should be sitting by any other club, because the cost will be too much. And I can only encourage the immigration office to say, please, payments for players should just be 1 year. So that the renewal becomes a problem, so that only serious teams and serious players are maintained in the league. Because now we have a situation where you are watching our professionals, our foreign players who are plying their trade in the Zambian league. When you look at the performance of the team they are putting in, I'll give you an example. I hate to give examples. Look at what happened.
And
to the
today
NAPSA
we're full of examples.
Yeah, look at what happened to the NAPSA goalkeeper. That's a professional guy. You've issued a work permit to such a player. The game against Power Dynamos, Napsa Stars was leading 2 goals to 1.
Then the mistakes that he made.
You just mistime it. Now the question is it worth it to give work permits to this type of players when we have goalkeepers that can actually do better than that back home? So even this skills transfer, it should be something that
And then
clubs should
again, that same work permit can be a pay to the local keeper that you have.
Plenty of them, not just one. Plenty.
And also due to time, a quick one. Any transfer, any new names that are being heard in terms of international football, the transfer window in the EPL?
I have
Any confirmed transfer so far? Because from yesterday, I think I couldn't come through.
It's very, very tight at the moment because you realize that most of the teams, they like to sneak in the last few days of the transfer market. So probably it's the beginning of the transfer window which has just opened, and we'll keep our eyes open to see. But clearly, as you talk about that, you also wish to know that Man United is the only team that is challenging Liverpool at this point. And when you look at Aston Villa, the team that was humbled by the Man United last night, they beat the table toppers. You know, we have 33 points
at peace.
At peace with
Have we played our game in hand?
Yes, we are at par now. We are at par from yesterday's game. So we've played 16 games, and Liverpool has also played 16 games. We are sitting at 33 points. They are also sitting at 33 points. Of course, the goal difference, we are a bit inferior on that, but I think during the next match, I know Liverpool will be unfortunate, so they will be wired, and will probably proceed and go to the top of the table.
In fact, that block, the block that everyone was talking about, the block made by Eric Bailey.
Eric Bailly has been in and out of the game, very injured. When you look at the couple of games that Man United has lost in the past, we've had 2 centre-backs involved. That's Harry Maguire and Lindelof.
Yeah.
These 2 guys have been culprits for most of the games that we lose because they are very bad at set pieces. Yesterday, credit to Grealish, the Aston Villa skipper. He was on point.
He was on point. We couldn't get a ball of him.
You see, that is a player that Man United needs. Those are the players that we should be targeting in these transfer windows. He was a thorn in our defense. And I think I counted like 3 set pieces that just went over Harry Maguire and found an Aston Villa player right behind Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire was caught napping on 3 occasions from Grealish's passes. And for me, perfect player on the day. 94% involvement in all sections of the pitch, which is something that is very, very credible for a player. And when we talk about Aston Villa, the team that was humbled by Man United yesterday, sorry to dwell on this, but I'm very happy actually. My director must be very, very happy because of the result. When you look at Aston Villa, it's not a small team. That is a team that beat Liverpool 7-2 in this same season. This same Liverpool, by the way. It's not
the result that people never expect.
Of course, it's the same team. They've beaten the log leaders, and we also struggled to beat them. But I think we are playing some very, very fantastic football as Man United.
Title contenders?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. That's a story that I don't like discussing. Let's enjoy the moment. We had our own moments when we were very low.
Who was your man of the match, Uncle Rapso?
For me, it's Eric Bailly. When you look at the Man United side, I would pick Eric Bailly. When you look at Aston Villa,
it's Grealish.
I would pick Grealish.
Because when I looked at, after the game ended, I saw a couple of players going to Eric Bailly, our players in fact, showing that, okay, it's him.
The block, the last minute block he did made the difference in the game. For me, that was a match winner. That ball was going in, it was too close. And ask me who made a mistake. One veteran, pop. We had the ball in attack. He wasn't under pressure. He decided to shoot at the goalkeeper from an angle, a very, very wide angle. There was no need to do that. It's from that particular breakdown that Eric Bailly had to come and defend that particular block.
How was the combination for you in terms of the midfield?
We were on point yesterday. That is the correct team that we must be using.
Okay.
That is the best.
A quick one, Uncle Rapson. A quick, you can do a quick
the games today.
A quick close up of for you, Uncle Rapson. Any latest information that you can tell us before the show comes to an end?
Well, to the viewers out there, I think the biggest thing that I would like to say is the league is on recess. We'll come back and like we promised last week, there will be more coverage of the Eden University League as well. We'll have more coverage of the provincial leagues when they start. We'll be giving you information as and when we receive it. But the provincial leagues hasn't yet started. The Premier League is on recess. And once we are back, we'll come back. NAPSA Stars has a game this week. Nkana Football Club has a game this week. We can only wish these two particular teams a very, very good wish, because they need to represent the country very well. NAPSA Stars has to go and do something very, very unique away from home. And Ghana Football Club is out into Angola this week. They have a game this week. And from the performance they had against Prison Leopards, I'm sure one Kelvin Kaindo has done his part as the manager of the team. And I hope he has psyched the players to forget about that result and just concentrate on what is to be expected on during the course of the week.
Anyway, just a quick one on the games that are being played today. That's the EPL. We've got Tottenham hosting Leeds United. That's an early kickoff starting at 14:30. And then we've got Crystal Palace, who are hosting Sheffield Sheffield United. Story 19:30. Brighton versus Wolverhampton. West Brom Albion, who is going to hammer Arsenal. That's the last game to 22 hours. Anyway, Robson, you want to comment something on that?
No. I feel for, on a light note, I was told that the Arsenal promo has been extended to 31st January. So they will probably start their losing streak this evening. So we are yet to see that. And I can only apologize to Isaac and his Chelsea team also.
Who are facing Man City tomorrow.
They are a problem. They will be hammered tomorrow as well, as per procedure. So we can only wish them all the best. And I know Isaac is going to be on me as we end the show, but that's just reality.
Anyway, to the viewers who just watched us wherever you are from the diaspora of the world, I would say so. We come to the end of the show, and hopefully whatever information we had for you was of help in terms of an update in terms of sports, and hopefully we'll see you with more shocking transfer news and more of the winning Manchester United, like Kango Rabson alluded, and our director is very happy. But anyway, we are out. See you next week.